Hello again. I'm back. Yeah, this is Kiss. Doing more politically irresponsible crap on the internet. It shouldn't be done. But I'm doing it. Before I leaving. And my question today is something I've noticed about various views that have been going on about AIDS and about infectious communicable diseases, especially venereal diseases. What I want to know is why isn't someone with a communicable disease, why isn't spreading that disease criminalized? You want to know why I say that? First off, without naming the names, we've all heard the charity events. The charity events to help the poor person in his plight and to suffer the funds and the charity and all the money that goes along with it. The research, the pill a day that'll keep him alive but won't keep third world people alive. You gotta be kidding me. Alright. Ease off. Back up. Let me explain. And maybe I'm wrong, because even I can kind of see it. But I want to propose an alternative thought. Just a little alternative thought. Okay? Just to see if you might see it my way, or if you can help me see it your way. Because right now, I can't. Well, I kind of can, but I can't completely. And what the hell is this in my eye? Anyway. When you have someone who has full-blown AIDS, even though now they have a pill a day to keep people healthy for years, what is that person doing having any legal, even consensual sex, relationship, intimate relations with any other person? Informed, uninformed, I don't even know if they should have frigging sexual rights. Maybe they should be chemically castrated to avoid all potential possibility. And that would only work on the men. Not to mention female sex workers who sometimes in misandry freaking go out, or other psychopathic needs, go out and spread the joy to all the people who friggin' hurt her, all the men who hurt her. You know, one of them Black Widow friggin' hookers. Wow. Yeah, I know. You know, why don't I just put a turban on my head and chop them off at the friggin' middle of the square, huh? No. Anyway, Why am I so upset about this? I'll tell you why I'm so upset about this. Because not only have I heard some ridiculous crap on YouTube recently about this wayward triangle, but a woman purposely got involved with an AIDS positive individual. How is that her right? The right that will cost so much money and resources and everything. That's liberal. That's liberal arrogance. And you know what else is arrogant about it? Is that it supposes that a right is built upon an economic obfuscation of a reality. Now, I can make the same argument about any healthy living. But there are degrees. There is no gray scale. There are black and white steps. It's one thing to be someone who has an eating disorder and, you know, might be a fatty and might be a diabetic. You know, that can be worked upon. You know, and I make no excuses for myself, but at the same time, one does not exactly compare to the other. And on a personal note, why I'm so hot about this, let me tell you why. Because all these little typhoid friggin' Marys running around, friggin' little AIDS buckets, friggin'... When I was younger, back in the heyday, when AIDS was really AIDS, when AIDS first came out, when the movie The Band Played On came out, when friggin', well, when I didn't have the money or the sense to get a condom, and that's my own damn fault, being young and stupid, but still young and stupid, when I could have gone right down to the clinic and grabbed a handful, was that I had slept with this prostitute that one of my managers had brought in, that cheating Indian bastard, and his big, fat, hairy wife. Friggin', you know, he'd friggin' grill me by day, but then friggin' extort me by night to friggin', you know, coming in, Timmy, this is hashish, and this is a true goddamn story, by the way. You know, I need to come in. Christ, right? And friggin' he knew his mark, and in he brings this black prostitute, right? But I got a freebie out of it. So what the hell? You know, found out later and saw her later, skin and bones. Skin and bones. I mean, skin and bones are getting blotchy. Scared the hell out of me. Freaking, I don't know how. I went down to that, walked all the way down, freaking 2 miles, because I didn't have a bike or a freaking car or a ride. Walked down and got that test, and we had to wait 3 weeks. And let me tell you what it was like going in for the test. This was in the heyday of AIDS. I'm sitting there. There's a line out the door for the clinic. No one knows if this thing is going to accelerate. We're looking at the age of a pandemic, maybe an extinction level event. It wasn't a joke at the time. It was the scourge. It was the Black Death in your crotch. There was no AIDS research. No one was even sure. Some people even said, and I know it seems silly now, but this was the mid-'80s. Some people even said, late 80s, some people even said that this is a way to cull the population. You think you get the test, you go in for the test, and you get the enzyme based on a chart they give you. That's one way to get rid of the surplus population, huh? Okay, I was 18, I believed a lot of the BS that was coming out of the anti-establishment at the time. The paradigm was a little different then. Some things on the left and the right shifted, as in today. Well, anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm watching all the freaks out the door of the free clinic. And, and you saw people walk out of there ashen-faced at times, and they had gotten the bad news. And the bad news was, in about a year or two, maybe 3 or 4, you're going to have big blotches on your face. They even had commercials about it. And I seen it. So it wasn't all covered up like it is now with the medicine. All that AIDS research that never cured a damn thing, but just made it to go on and on and on. A big cash crop industry. There's probably an incentive not to get it cured. So that was my first scare with AIDS. Or a communicable disease. Then I get to Iowa, my ex-wife. Halfway, 6 months into our marriage, she tells me, she goes, oh, by the way, my stepfather, who's sitting right there, is an autistic, right? My ex was a friggin', she was a whore. I can't think what you call it. Because I'm kind of upset right now. Anyway, she was a nympho. She was a nymphomaniac. She was always a nymphomaniac. But at the time, when I knew her before, I didn't really care. Except that I never got any. Well, once or twice, but... Well, it was the kind of lifestyle I lived when I knew her when I was younger. But while I matured, got a little bit more conservative, she never did, until she found God. That was the only way she could friggin' put a brake on her britches, was to find the friggin' big sky daddy to tell her no. Well, anyway, I get there 6 months, and she goes, oh, by the way, I have hepatitis C. Bitch. But I didn't say anything, because I'm in the middle of nowhere. And, and I didn't really understand all that it was. But I kind of went, okay. Because I knew the mom had it. And I guess she got it from the stepfather. But then she says, oh... when they at the dinner table, for God's sakes, right? And didn't even tell me beforehand. I'd have never gone. I still hate her for this. And she goes, oh yeah, my mom has it, and she got it from him, But what you don't know is he raped me. And I go, wait a minute, you never told me beforehand? And he raped you, and we're sitting at the same table all together like nothing happened? I said, bullshit, he raped you. I go, I know you. You're friggin' info. Friggin', you did him. Don't say he raped you for sitting right here. I mean, I really said this. You know, and they all kind of looked at me quietly. She goes, no, he raped me. Okay. Alright, whatever, need to tell yourself. Now, what about us? And it just went downhill from there. You know. I didn't know, but, you know, Jesus. I thought, well, I'm in, so great. Now, I've only got 10 years to live. But somehow, when I came back to California, so much for that anonymity. Oh, I already said I live in California, so this is back in Iowa. Somehow when I came back, either she was lying, which I doubt, or I didn't get it. But there was another typhoid Mary. And at this time, I had completely emotionally collapsed. So, I was just like, okay, you know, I went and got checked, but I got into doing a lot of hard drugs and stuff, a lot of meth, you know, to be honest. And I wasn't being responsible. I could say I got drugged into it. Drugged in, I don't know. It's true. I somehow didn't have the will to say no. Eventually I got sucked in. It happens, and it shouldn't have happened. And frankly, at times, between having the scum outside the house and having the scum inside the house, it was a freaking better choice to have them in the house. It's hard to explain, but it was better the enemy you know. Put it that way. And it turns out it wasn't, of course. But, well, it turns out that my father was a taxi driver. He used to take a lot of bennies. And that was a form of amphetamine also. So, it could have been something that I was chemically predisposed to. Because I remember the first time I tried that, and I was drunk, and I was at the wrong crowd, and I was wondering how these guys always standing to be drunk. And what I didn't know is they were hiding from me was that they were doing meth. And it was like, you know, one time the guy put his foot in the door, and he goes, no, I don't want you getting sick. Here, sniff this. And I was too drunk and stoned off marijuana say no. A gateway drug is a drug that affects you because it lowers your inhibition to make a reasonable choice in something else that's a slippery slope. Like methamphetamines. There's your war on drugs. Stupid asses. So anyway, how can you be responsible when you can't be freaking self-responsible? Why the hell did they have parking lots in friggin' bars? Why aren't there just taxi portals there? Yeah, I know. So I'm a simplistic retard. So what's your friggin' excuse? Well, anyway... So I'm in a mad pad, right? I'm going along with this scene, and it's wild. This is not my youth wild, which was just alcohol and pot. And I found out other people were slipping me LSD and stuff, but well, then there was the mushrooms. Oh, that was another story. Anyway, but it was the fact that, okay, so I'm running in the Mad Pad, and there was a lot of hookers. And there was this one I know, oh God, Raquel. Raquel. Oh, that's the story, freaking, oh God. I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't laugh, but it just, I heard her walking down the street a year ago, friggin' that voice. Raquel was insane. I mean, there was, I don't know, she was a spirit in the wind. It's a shame what's going to happen to her. She knows it. And she's kind of evil. Well, we're all evil, but that's beside the point. But I found out, and I messed with Raquel, like, all the time. You know, that Barry Vinovo video, friggin' swinging on a vine. That was Raquel in the park. This woman was a friend of mine, but she was nobody's friend. She'd steal. She'd break windows when she was mad. Raquel was a force of nature. Raquel was a $2 hooker. Yeah. You know. Well, hell, you know, here's a 40, you know, a freaking blowjob machine. What the hell? That's what a hooker was. That's what a whore was to me. And actually, she was a pretty good friend. So that's what I was to myself at the time. Tell me more about the friggin' wages or the prices of vice. You know, the price of sin. I don't know. I'll go for that religious crap, but really, after so many years, in a casual conversation, when I had stopped doing drugs and everything, I found out she had hepatitis C. See, every other friggin' person that came through my door with meth and shooting up and hepatitis C go hand in hand in hand. And this was nothing to do about racism, but this is a predominantly Hispanic culture I was in too, so I'm sure it goes hand in hand along any other race, but mostly I was in a predominantly Hispanic area, and drugs, gangs, all that. You know, drugs, gangs, guns. Jesus. And if you're looking at me and you're judging me, and you're thinking, geez, what a scumball, then you agree with me. Because that's what the hell I started thinking. That's why the hell I'm a little bit more conservative now. And all this crap. And then again, on the same side, I enjoy my crap, so, but I don't know how to explain it, but I joined polite society. Well, I got too much scared about friggin' dying from everything that's friggin' happening to me and seeing all my friends drop like flies when they got older from diabetes, from mental issues, from liver, heart, cancers, generally dying young or younger or in the 40s or 50s that I'm approaching because their body got wore out because of the way they lived. The people more successful in the game, the master of puppets, freaking burned the candle quicker. And everyone knew it and no one cared. Ugh. You know? So here I listen to people go on about freaking, oh, let's have an event for AIDS. And oh, there's a big YouTube scandal. Oh, well, I love him. And my question is, how the hell do you develop romantic feelings for a blotchy? No, I'm not sympathetic. I am sympathetic to the friggin' when the eventual breakup happens because the emotional turmoil of friggin' your condition hits you and you have another flare-up and you go off and you have friggin' unprotected sex with somebody else because you're not being responsible, that the friggin' disease goes on and on and on. It's not the band marched on, it's the party played on. The party keeps going on. The freaking millions go up in AIDS research. And the freaking people keep dying. When we could isolate the disease by any means possible, just about, and freaking end it. Why aren't all communicable diseases ended? No, I'm not talking about AIDS Gitmo, but I'm almost talking about it. I'm talking about a typhoid Mary solution. Stop the progression of disease. Put a big pink triangle on their forehead. And no, I'm not being a Nazi. Or, if I am, how would you avoid that? Can you avoid that? Is there any way to stop this scenario of progressive slippage of a deadly but slow disease? And let me tell you Von Helton fans something, all you crazy friggin' truthers and all them, the little alien guys. You know, you want to kill humanity? Friggin' set out by the Oort clouds, send a little robotic UFO, have them slap together a little mud pack, do it in a little biolab, slap some shit into that, freaking inject it into a friggin' rock, and push that sucker friggin' into a near-Earth orbit and let it decay over a population area, like Africa. Oh, well, thank you, Patient Zero. We all appreciate this. Or have some stupid asses I found out friggin' do friggin' polio things. But we should all get our H1N1 shot. We don't know, because we're absolutely sure that's safe. God knows what horror we're releasing on the future. Now, maybe this is scientifically wrong, but I believe that there can be diseases that come from asteroids due to reseeding. Well, see, there's a theory that life was formulated because an asteroid inside has amino acids, but the heat from its surface reentry and the hard impact knocks those enzymes together, or the amino acids together, to create enzymes. And that creates new pathogens. that sometimes interact with the already established biosphere and causes new diseases, sometimes very dangerous ones. I don't know if that's true or not scientifically, but I have heard it suggested, and I don't know the validity of that, to be honest. I tend to believe it. I could be wrong. Well, there was reports of meteors when the bird flu, the SARS, flew over. And that's another thing, is friggin' taking care of animals. You know, what you get to industrialized farming is an incubation thing for the next pandemic. The bird flu, the cat flu, the cat because of frigging industrial pet practices. So you see, we're not only screwing ourselves with AIDS by not protecting ourselves in one way, we're also not protecting ourselves by our pet and food industry standards. Why are we being so ignorant? Why can't we live in a healthy society? And if that means someone's got to wear a little pink frigging triangle on their forehead so I know to stay clear, because I have to live in a society that will not friggin' enforce friggin' drug enforcement and has an anti-prohibition stance on alcohol, an intoxicant, to reduce my friggin' ability to make informed and intelligent choices. Yeah, I'm just an idiot. But you tell me how any of this is sane. So, that's a paradox. Oh, you just don't understand it because you don't see all the conditions. Well, you just see all the conditions. So I don't think you really understand it. And if I do, I don't know if I want to. Because from the outside in, it doesn't make one damn lick of sense. That's wrong. It's just wrong.